In China's dazzling world of entertainment, few names shine with as much intrigue as Chen Kun. From a childhood shaped by hardship in Chongqing to his meteoric rise as one of the nation's most respected actors, his story is one of grit, mystery, and undeniable talent. Yet behind the acclaimed performances and box office hits lies a man whose private life has long puzzled fans and fueled endless speculation. Was his silence a shield or part of his legend? Tonight, we uncover the remarkable journey of Chen Kun. Stay tuned with Criminal Tracks for stories they don't want you to forget. Chen Kun's life began far from the glittering lights of China's entertainment industry. Born in 1976 in Chongqing, a sprawling city along the Yangtze River, his childhood was shaped more by hardship than by privilege. His parents divorced when he was young, and his mother raised him and his siblings alone. Money was tight, and survival required resilience. For Chen, that meant developing an independence and toughness that would later become part of his public persona. He was not the type to rely on others, and this sense of self-reliance carried him through the difficult early years of his life. Despite financial struggles, he found comfort in music. Singing gave him a voice and an outlet, a way to rise above the daily grind of a modest upbringing. He joined choirs, took part in competitions, and impressed people with his natural talent. His voice, both soulful and commanding, hinted at the charisma that would later captivate millions. Those who saw him in local contests never forgot the boy who seemed to pour all his emotions into song, even when standing on a small stage with no spotlight. In the 1990s, as China's entertainment scene began expanding, Chen made his way to Beijing, where opportunity beckoned. His determination paid off when he was admitted to the prestigious Beijing Film Academy, the same institution that shaped countless other Chinese stars. It was here that he polished his acting skills, learning the craft not only of performance, but also of discipline and patience. He was not the type to bask in attention, but rather the one who studied intensely, carefully, building a foundation for the career he envisioned. His reserved personality sometimes made him stand out among peers who thrived on publicity, but it also gave him an aura of seriousness and focus. After graduating, Chen quickly transitioned into television, where his natural presence on screen made him a standout. His breakthrough came with the drama Love Story in Shanghai, which captured the imagination of audiences in the late 1990s. Viewers were drawn not only to his good looks, but also to the subtle emotional depth he brought to his roles. Unlike some of his contemporaries, who relied mainly on charm or physical appeal, Chen seemed to carry a quiet gravity. He made characters feel real, flawed, and deeply human. That early success launched him into the ranks of rising stars, a position that came with both praise and expectation. The early 2000s solidified his reputation. Films like Balzac and the Little Chinese Seamstress introduced him to international audiences and critics, who admired his ability to balance sensitivity with strength. In this adaptation of Daisyiji's novel, Chen's portrayal of a young man grappling with love and longing during the Cultural Revolution showed a side of Chinese cinema that the world had rarely seen before. His performance carried a sincerity that struck a chord beyond borders. At the same time, back home, he was becoming a household name, celebrated for being more than just another handsome face on screen. Chen's career choices reflected an ambition to avoid being typecast. While many actors in his generation stuck with idle dramas and formulaic romances, he pivoted toward complex stories and roles that tested his versatility. In Painted Skin, for instance, he embraced the mix of fantasy and human emotion, adding dimension to a genre that was often dismissed as lightweight entertainment. This willingness to explore different roles helped him maintain relevance in an industry known for chewing up and discarding stars. His performances carried a blend of intensity and restraint, leaving viewers with a sense of mystery that paralleled his personal life. Yet, even as his fame grew, Chen Kun remained deliberately distant from the celebrity machine. He avoided the endless self-promotion and media exposure that defined many of his peers. Reporters complained of his aloofness, while fans defended his right to guard his private life. Unlike other actors who eagerly shared stories of their families or romantic lives, Chen kept silent. This silence only made him more intriguing. Audiences could not easily categorize him. He was not the accessible idol who smiled for every camera, but rather the enigmatic figure whose eyes suggested 1,000 unspoken stories. At this stage in his life, Chen Kun represented a paradox. He was deeply admired for his skill and charisma, yet the very qualities that made him popular also created distance. People wanted to know more about him, but he refused to give them what they craved. Instead, he let his work speak for itself. For many, this mystery became part of the allure. In a culture where celebrities often live under relentless public scrutiny, Chen carved out a unique path, one where talent and privacy could coexist, at least for a while. His early years in Chongqing, the struggles of his family, and the discipline he honed at the Beijing Film Academy had all led to this moment. A rising star who seemed to hold the keys to both admiration and secrecy. As Chen Kun's fame climbed higher, the spotlight grew harsher. By the mid-2000s, he was not just an admired actor, but also a cultural figure, and that meant every detail of his personal life became fair game for speculation. Unlike many celebrities who courted publicity, Chen kept his private world under lock and key. That choice, whether deliberate strategy or genuine instinct, fueled rumors that never seemed to die. One of the longest-running debates surrounding him centered on his sexuality. Tabloids, gossip forums, and entertainment columns all circled the same question. Why did one of China's most eligible stars never reveal relationships with women, never appear to date, never seem to live the conventional lifestyle expected of leading men? His silence gave rise to endless whispers. Some speculated about hidden romances, while others labeled him as intentionally cultivating an air of mystery. To this day, Chen has neither confirmed nor denied any of these rumors, which only kept the cycle alive. For fans, this silence became part of his brand. For detractors, it was a reason to question his authenticity. The intrigue deepened in 2010 when Chen Kun made a stunning revelation. He was a father. He introduced the world to his young son, Yu, and publicly embraced his role as a single parent. But while some applauded his honesty, others zeroed in on the unanswered question: who was the mother? Chen offered no explanation. He never named her, never hinted at her identity, and never addressed speculation about whether Yu was adopted or born through surrogacy. His refusal to share details clashed with China's celebrity culture, where fans often demand transparency and expect to be let into every corner of their idols' lives. Critics accused him of being evasive, while supporters praised him for protecting both his child and the woman involved. The controversy became one of the defining chapters of his career, shaping his image as both a loving father and a deeply private man. This secrecy extended into his friendships and professional relationships. Chen Kun and Zhou Shun, one of China's most acclaimed actresses, were famously close, often appearing side by side at events. Their bond sparked rumors of everything from romance to rivalry. The entertainment press eagerly searched for cracks in their connection, suggesting periods of distance or even conflict. At times, both stars seemed to feed the speculation by disappearing from each other's public orbit, only to re-emerge together at carefully chosen moments. Some saw it as a genuine friendship tested by the demands of fame. Others suggested that their relationship was strategically used to maintain public curiosity. Whatever the truth, the ambiguity only added to the aura of mystery surrounding Chen Kun. The actor's relationship with the media was no less complicated. He was often described as aloof, even arrogant, during interviews and press events. Journalists complained about his unwillingness to answer personal questions or engage in casual banter. In an industry built on carefully managed charm, Chen's guarded demeanor stood out. he appeared to value control over his narrative more than applause from the press. Fans defended this stance, arguing that he had a right to privacy in a culture that devoured personal details with little regard for boundaries. Still, the perception of arrogance stuck, and at times it overshadowed the genuine warmth he showed toward fans during his public appearances. Even with controversies swirling around him, Chen Kun's career did not falter. He continued to take on ambitious roles, proving that his acting could withstand the noise of gossip. In 2012, he starred in Painted Skin, The Resurrection, which broke box office records and cemented his place as one of the most bankable stars in China. He followed it with roles that showcased his versatility, moving between historical epics, action blockbusters, and more intimate dramas. His ability to shift between genres allowed him to remain relevant even as younger actors entered the scene. In an industry known for short-lived fame, Chen demonstrated staying power, yet the rumors never truly faded. Over time, new narratives emerged, that his mystery was carefully cultivated, that his single fatherhood was a shield against more invasive questions, that his friendships with certain stars were more about public image than personal connection. None of these theories were ever proven, but they shaped the way the public viewed him. Chen Kun was no longer just an actor. He was a puzzle, an enigma whose refusal to explain himself became part of his legend. At the same time, his work behind the scenes added another layer to his story. Chen began to mentor younger actors and invest in film projects, taking on a role as both performer and shaper of the industry. This dual identity as artist and businessman earned him respect among peers, even as it made him less accessible to casual fans, who craved personal drama over professional achievements. For Chen Kun, the years of peak fame were both a triumph and a trial. He had reached a point where his name alone could sell tickets, but he also lived under a magnifying glass that examined every word and gesture. His decision to reveal his son while concealing his son's origins captured the contradictions of his life. Open enough to surprise the world, guarded enough to keep them guessing. It was a balancing act that kept him in headlines, but also weighed heavily on his public image. By the end of this period, Chen Kun's legacy was no longer just about his roles. It was about how he navigated fame on his own terms. Some saw a man courageously defending his boundaries. Others saw a celebrity manipulating mystery to stay relevant. Either way, Chen Kun had become something rare in Chinese entertainment. A star who resisted being fully consumed by the public, leaving just enough untold to keep audiences watching. As the years moved forward, Chen Kun entered a stage of his life and career that seemed to confirm his reputation as both a formidable actor and an elusive public figure. By the mid-2000s, he had already spent nearly 2 decades in the entertainment industry, surviving waves of younger talent and constant shifts in audience taste. What set him apart was not only his ability to adapt, but also his refusal to compromise on the privacy he had always guarded. This duality, openness through art and silence in life, defined the way fans and critics alike perceived him. His professional success continued steadily. Films such as Mojin, The Lost Legend in 2015 reinforced his bankability, drawing millions to theaters and reminding the industry that his star power had not dimmed. He was no longer simply a heartthrob or rising star. He was a veteran whose name carried both prestige and profit. Producers sought him not only for his acting skills, but also for the credibility he brought to ambitious projects. His presence guaranteed a certain standard, and audiences trusted that a Chen Kun film would deliver depth beyond spectacle. Alongside his career achievements, Chen's financial success grew. Years of high-paying roles, brand endorsements, and careful investments built him a fortune that placed him firmly among China's wealthiest actors. Reports surfaced of luxury homes in Beijing and Shanghai, places where he could retreat away from the glare of cameras. He was known to appreciate fine art and high-end fashion. often appearing at events dressed with an understated elegance that spoke to his taste. Yet, true to form, he never flaunted his wealth the way many of his peers did. There were no public displays of sports cars or extravagant parties. Instead, Chen seemed to embody a quiet affluence, proof of his success without a need to advertise it. Still, the air of secrecy surrounding his family life continued to hover over him. His son Yuyo grew older in the public eye, sparking renewed interest in the unanswered question of the boy's origins. Each time the actor was seen with his child, speculation reignited. Some praised Chen for being a devoted father, a rarity in an industry where work often takes priority over family. Others criticized him for withholding information, accusing him of hiding truths that fans had a right to know. In interviews, Chen remained consistent. He acknowledged his love for his son, but firmly shut the door on any discussion of the boy's mother. For him, fatherhood was a personal role, not a public performance. That decision, controversial as it was, demonstrated the same principle that had guided his entire career. Protect what matters most, even if it means enduring criticism. In addition to his personal life, Chen's relationships in the entertainment world continued to draw attention. His bond with Zhou Xun remained a subject of fascination, as the two appeared together sporadically, reigniting debates about the nature of their connection. Their collaboration on various projects showed mutual respect, but neither ever clarified the rumors that surrounded them. The ambiguity became part of the mythology of both stars, a reminder that in an industry obsessed with exposure, some stories could remain untold. Chen Kun's image as a man who defied categorization became increasingly clear. While some celebrities built careers on constant visibility, Chen thrived on mystery. His famous quote, "Everyone has their secrets, and that's not necessarily a bad thing," became emblematic of his approach to fame. It was a philosophy that resonated with fans who admired his resilience and independence, but also frustrated those who wanted more transparency. The very secrecy that kept him protected also made him the subject of endless curiosity. Even so, Chen managed to carve out a lasting legacy. His influence extended beyond his own roles. He inspired a generation of younger actors to approach the craft with seriousness and integrity. Many cited him as proof that one could build a lasting career in China without surrendering entirely to the demands of fame. His story became an example of how to navigate the treacherous balance between personal boundaries and public expectation. As he entered his 40s, Chen Kun's career reached a point of reflection. He had achieved wealth, fame, and critical respect. Yet, he remained as enigmatic as when he first appeared on screen. He was admired for his acting, remembered for his unforgettable roles, and talked about endlessly for the mysteries that trailed behind him. To many, he represented a rare kind of celebrity, one who stood tall not by giving everything away, but by holding certain truths close to the chest. Today, Chen Kun is viewed as one of China's most enduring stars, a man who has weathered controversies and thrived in spite of them. His life is a study in contrasts, talent paired with secrecy, warmth paired with aloofness, openness as a father paired with silence about the past. He has proven that even in an industry built on exposure, it is possible to maintain control over one's narrative. Whether praised as a devoted parent, criticized as evasive, or celebrated as a master actor, Chen Kun remains an enigma whose mystery only adds to his allure. In the end, his legacy is not just about the roles he played, but about the way he lived, a life both illuminated and shadowed by the very secrets he chose never to reveal. Chen Kun's life is a rare blend of triumph and secrecy, where brilliance on screen meets a stubborn refusal to conform off it. He gave the world unforgettable roles, yet guarded his private life with the same intensity that made his acting unforgettable. To some, this makes him elusive. To others, it makes him extraordinary. What remains clear is that Chen Kun has redefined what it means to be a star in China. If you want more untold stories from behind the spotlight, Don't forget to subscribe to Criminal Tracks, where truth and mystery always share the stage.